This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Pete. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Another great Saturday afternoon.
Beautiful Saturday in Ohio.
Yes, as always. I mean,
as
that's
always,
what
here we
expect
are.
in Ohio.
Yes. And if you haven't tuned in before, Michelle and I are business coaches, and we have a firm here in Columbus called Take Action Business Coaching.
That's right.
And we work with business owners to help them grow their companies, almost always increase profit. That's one of our goals all the time.
Absolutely.
And in a lot of cases, we help people work less while they're growing their business.
Yes.
That's another key.
Enjoy life more.
Yeah,
Work
we'd like
less.
that, yes.
Yeah.
Unless you're taking more time to do things you don't enjoy, which is fine
well,
if that's
I
what
guess
you
that's
want to
a
do.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all have choices in life,
we do.
right?
We do. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
welcome. And we're glad that you're tuning in today.
Yes.
And we like to start with some good news. Today, what are we going to cover? What's the topic today?
Today
Michelle?
we're going to talk about customer service and how to get our customers to be raving fans of our business. So how
Raving
to get
fans,
raving
meaning what?
fans.
Frothing at the mouth,
That's
running
right.
around in circles.
Exactly, like a rabid animal.
Okay.
They're actually going to be doing the selling for us. They love us so much that they're out there just telling everybody in the world about
Even
how
if somebody
great our
doesn't
business
ask,
is.
they're going to say, hey, you
Exactly.
need to buy one of these.
That's
or
right.
you need to go to this place.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's their
All right.
job because we're going to treat them so well that they'll have no choice but to talk about us all the time.
Awesome. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Michelle is a coach here in Columbus and actually ran a business for many years and was a
Absolutely.
client of ours years ago.
Yep.
And used the principles to grow that business and then transfer ownership of it.
Exactly.
And now is helping other business owners to grow theirs.
Do the same thing.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. The coaching process was such an amazing thing that I just had to be part of it, had to stick with it and help others get the same
Do
success
the
that
same
we
thing.
got. So
Awesome. So we like to start with some good news. So we've got some miscellaneous good news. You'll like this. It's kind of a whole mixture of things. So good news, because we don't always hear enough good news, right?
I know, exactly.
Does anybody hear too much good news?
I don't think there is a way to
Usually
hear
not.
too much good news,
Okay.
but I tell you, my son this morning wanted to turn the news on.
Oh, he
is
did?
9, and
Okay,
I had
9.
the news on, and he's like, I just want to watch the news. I don't want to watch cartoons. Can we
Oh.
watch the news? And
All right.
so we start watching it, and of course, it's this mass shooting here and this,
Yeah,
that, and
that's
there, and the
something,
other.
yeah,
And I was
right,
just
right.
like, you know what, buddy? We're not
Okay.
starting our morning this way. We're going to start our morning with something more positive, even if it's Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans. That's a new one. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, great. Okay, so if you own Amazon stock, you'll like this one. So Amazon has a river of profit. This is out of the Wall Street Journal. Amazon's delivering consistent profits, and investors are rewarded for their investing in this Amazon giant, commerce giant. It earned $724 million during the first 3 months of the year. Its 8th consecutive quarter in the black, which is really good.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
One
great.
of the most profitable period in the company's history.
So that is really good news,
That's pretty
except
cool.
for if you're my husband who's constantly kicking himself for not buying Amazon stock
Oh,
when it
he
was
is?
like way
I'm
new.
giving this article to you. You give that to him and say, honey,
Honey, look.
you might want to listen to me more often.
That's right.
I told you. In Indiana, now we're big about freedom here and at 98.9. And one of the things, the title of this is an editorial out of the editorial page of the Journal. Another state frees the braiders. So in Indiana, they had a requirement that if you were going to braid hair, you had to have a cosmetology license.
Huh.
And they just rescinded that. And if I was going to be someone that braided hair, which I probably wouldn't in Indiana,
Yeah.
it would have taken 1,500 hours of schooling and
Wow.
cost $10,000 to get a state license. Now, come on.
That's,
They're not using drugs. They're not using chemicals. They're just braiding someone's hair. And they had to have 1,500 hours of training that cost generally $10,000. So they get rid of that.
well, I
And
can braid my own
actually-
hair. Is that okay?
How do you do that? With a mirror?
Oh,
I mean,
no.
how-
I can actually do it easier on myself than I can on anybody else.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
All
Okay.
those years of ballet, I had to get my hair up.
All right.
It all fell into place.
But anyway, one of the things is barriers to entry into a market will increase prices.
Right.
And it hurts the free market. So
Right.
that's why one of the reasons we want to have
Yeah.
as much freedom as possible.
Let those braiders go.
Yeah, let the braiders go. And it's the 26th state that has done this. So it takes
Interesting.
time, this kind of change. So
I
there's
guess
still
so.
about half
Still.
of the states say, Oh,
No.
You're braiding hair, man. You're a danger.
Will not
You're
braid
a
hair.
danger. Okay, next one. Tesla's big dreams about traffic. So, Tesla has electric cars, and one of our clients has one. It's a really beautiful car.
It is. It's fun to ride in.
But, you got to be careful because it's quiet.
Yeah.
He'll sneak up behind you. And anyway, they're talking about a tunnel network beneath Los Angeles to alleviate congestion. And he's talking about having these cars, Elon Musk, traveling as high as 130 miles an hour in a tunnel. Self-driving, it sounds scary, but hey, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
so there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
I won't admit or deny driving that fast in the past, so we won't.
Now
judge
here,
at all.
Jeff should have bought Apple stock, right?
Yeah.
Apple's sitting on a mountain of cash, $250 billion in cash.
Wow.
Hey, can you imagine? Now the iPhones, people are copying them, right?
Right.
So there are competitors, and they're doing one better and this and that. But they're still making a ton of money. I mean, I have an iPhone. I really like it.
Yeah,
you have one too.
The majority of people I know have the iPhone.
I mean, I like them. They work,
Right.
and they're coming out with a new one pretty soon.
Of course, they always are.
But they've got this gigantic mountain of cash. It's equivalent to bigger than the value of Walmart and Procter and Gamble, the whole company. So anyway.
You think they'd share?
They're
I mean,
doing
if we
great.
just call them and say, "Hey, Pete and I would like to go out to lunch. Will you give us a little
and
extra
we'll take
money?"
our producer Alan. Would you like to go out to lunch? We only
Alan,
need
he's got
a
a
couple
thumbs up.
100,000.
Oh, that'd be fine. Yeah, that'd be a really nice lunch. We're
So
gonna
this
fly
is an
ourselves to
interesting
Italy.
article. Detroit is upbeat as car sales slow down. Now that sounds weird, right?
Does
But
sound
car
weird.
sales are still about 16.5 million per year rate, which is still quite fast.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many cars per day that is. That's a lot of cars.
Right.
We're still kicking out that many cars, even though we've been close to 18 million a year or two ago. But it's still a very good news for the steel industry and the car companies.
Absolutely.
And then U.S. Steel, it says, posts a surprise loss. But the good news in this article is they're talking about investing huge amounts of money in the U.S., around $1 billion. So they're going to invest about $1 billion in upgrading their factories, their steel facilities. And they haven't been updated in a long time. So it's time to start working on that. So that's
Absolutely.
good.
That is
Is
good
that good?
news. Yeah, that's
Okay.
great news.
Awesome.
Yeah, my a lot of my family is from Youngstown, Ohio, which was a steel city, and as you know, they hit hard times way back when
Oh
the
my
steel
gosh,
industry
yes.
took a hit.
And it didn't come back, right?
No,
There.
never came back there.
Yeah.
Definitely
Now, I
did
grew
in
up
some
in
other
Buffalo,
cities.
New York. It's very similar.
yep.
The south side was 5 straight miles of steel mills.
Right.
Just mile after mile after mile of
coming
it.
through.
And a lot of it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of it's still there. But
Right.
very little anymore.
Yeah, you drive through and you see all those empty old factories and everything.
Right.
It's a little bit depressing, but hopefully they can all find different ways to come back. But it is good that the ones that are still existing, that they're
going to
reinvesting
modernize.
into them
Right,
and everything.
exactly.
So that's,
Yes.
that is good news because there's still a lot of steel being used out there. There's still need for
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's almost every time we see so much steel. Like, well, what happened to all these poor factories? There's still a ton of steel here, but
Yeah. And we recycle a lot of it now, too.
yeah,
But,
true. Absolutely.
all right. So give
should
us
we
some
get some
highlights from
going?
this topic we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about. Well, I was thinking about this because, I've experienced various levels of customer service throughout my life, and I'm sure you have too.
And you've made a lot of purchases
Yes,
of
a
all
lot
different
of
kinds
purchases,
of things.
and
right?
good and bad,
Lots
yes.
of things.
And I swear that sometimes I just want to hit my head against the wall when I get really bad customer service. It just makes me think, what are they thinking? What is
Well, it's
going
better
on
than
here?
beating up the service rep.
That's
That's
absolutely.
good.
Just beat myself up instead.
Yeah, right. Beat yourself up.
Exactly. But I
they'll
think
do better.
sometimes we take for granted, that these customers are just going to keep flooding through our door, especially, I guess, if places are doing well. Sometimes they just assume that those customers are going to keep coming. Yeah, you get complacent and you just allow things to be the way they are, or, policies might get set up that aren't necessarily customer driven.
Right.
And, sometimes you might be in an industry that you can get away with that for a period of time, that you don't necessarily have to think about customer service too bad. But even the fact of in this day and age.
So, like if you're a United Airlines passenger.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, might as well just throw that one out the door. My husband's actually flying United today.
Oh,
We'll
yes.
see. I told him, don't get off the plane for less than $10,000. So.
I mean, 9. I'd waffle.
All right, maybe 9.
Fine.
Now we know they'll go up to 10. Just keep pushing it. But so in this day and age with the internet and everything like that, it's not just that you made one person mad and that they might tell their neighbors on the street.
Yes.
Right now you make somebody mad, it can hit the world. Social media
Very
will take
quickly,
it to a whole
right?
nother level.
They can send a movie.
Exactly. Yep.
Post a movie online.
Exactly. So even businesses that are doing well,
right.
Can take a hit just from lack of customer service. So we're going to really get into, what that means. So a quick little before we go to the next break, I just want to tell you about a lot of companies think they're in the dark. So we did a survey of 300 organizations. 80% of those companies said that they rated superior in customer service.
That's their own view.
Yep, their own view. And we asked their customers, only 8% of their customers said they were superior.
We got a little disconnect here.
Exactly.
So all you business owners out there,
absolutely.
One of the clues there is that you may want to actually survey your customers periodically, even once a year would be great.
See how you're doing.
Right, and see what they think.
Exactly.
And see how well it compares.
Right, for sure.
And we're not trying to beat you up. It's just let's make sure that our perception is similar to theirs.
Right, exactly. We know what's going on. Look in the mirror.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
All right, here we go. We're talking about customer service.
Yes, we're talking about customer service and how to take it to the next level so that we get those customers to be what we call raving fans, so that they are big, big fans of our...
Raving fans. So they're actually selling for us. They're actually out telling their friends, neighbors, business associates, employees, everybody they know.
Important stuff about us and how good we are, instead of spreading the bad turmoil that they've got going on. So, we had talked about a little bit before about some of the companies being in the dark and not really realizing they think that their customer service is one way, but when their customers were surveyed, it was a little bit different. So it's important to know that. And, when you're thinking about building your customer service, one of the formulas we talk about a lot in coaching in various areas is the events plus response equals outcome. So the events we can't control all the time. You can certainly put in processes and systems into place and try
events
to...
like what?
The building catches on fire.
Oh, yeah, well, that's an event.
Yeah. Certain things, or, you're accidentally took the order if you're a waitress and you took their order down wrong.
Yeah, right.
So maybe, yes, you could have controlled it if you're maybe
Human
paying a little bit of attention,
happen,
but
right?
you keyed it in the computer wrong or whatever, so the order came out wrong. It happened.
Right.
But it's how we respond to that is what makes that next level of customer service, because if we just say, oh, well, we don't really care, then that's not really giving great customer service.
So if you're at home, you could actually write that down. We've talked about this before, is E plus R equals O.
That's right.
Events are going to happen, right? Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Exactly.
And it's our response that is the one thing in that little equation that you can control.
Exactly. It's absolutely.
And you want to have the best outcome possible.
Right.
And your outcomes that you're getting right now are all a result of how you responded to previous events.
Right.
So
how you're responding, how your team's responding.
Right.
But you yourself, how you're responding to things. So positive response equals positive outcome.
Okay.
A negative response equals a negative outcome. So important things to keep in mind when doing that. And so, you kind of sometimes wonder, why do customers leave a business?
Right.
And so we look at different ways, like, why are they leaving? Why aren't we keeping our customers? What's going on? And, 1% might be from death. That's not too bad, but it's true.
Eat your vegetables out there.
Exactly. Everybody stay healthy. Eat right and exercise. 3% because you move to a different area. So whatever business you were using, exactly, they're going to leave.
It's going to happen.
5% might have, now they're buying from a friend. So maybe they used to buy from you, but now they're friends in that business, so they do. So you may not get them back unless their friend isn't really that great at customer service. You never know. They might come back. 9% sold by competitors. So that might be a price thing. It might be a convenience thing. You never know. Again, 14% because they want a specific product or a specific price structure or something like that.
Something you don't offer, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the number one reason of why people leave a business is 68% of them leave because of what we call perceived indifference. So that is just they don't think you care.
They don't think you care.
Exactly. They
right.
don't
you
think
might
you
care.
Yep.
But if they don't think so.
So you didn't do anything to make them feel like you were the most important person in the room, or even a somewhat important person in the room.
Right.
You might not have done anything wrong. There might not have been any bad situations that came about, but you certainly didn't make them feel special. You don't make them remember you. I had this happen years ago when I had to switch doctors, and I went to a new doctor, and I couldn't remember for the life of me the next year what that doctor's name was because it had made no impression on me. I couldn't remember the name of the practice. I couldn't remember. They didn't reschedule me for the next time.
So we're not going to say it on the air because you really don't know.
I really don't know. I'm not going to tell you who that doctor was, but I can tell you that I never went back because they certainly didn't make an impression enough with me that I remember who they were, nor did they follow up with me at any point to say, don't forget, it's time to come in again, or we want to see you again. Thanks for coming, anything like that. So
yeah, and from a medical standpoint, they may have done just as well as any other doctor.
Exactly, yeah.
But the communication going back and forth was not great enough to make any kind of an impression on you.
I couldn't call them again.
Wow, that's funny.
So it's just, taking that thing. So again, it was nothing that they did wrong.
Okay.
And so we need to make sure that, we're getting those moments, that we're making an impression on them, that we're reminding them who our business is, whether it's something that they take from the business that has our name and logo on it, whether it's, follow-up phone calls, follow-up mailers, things like that. But customer satisfaction really comes into doing more than somebody expects. So we need to really push ourselves to do something great and do something
go back
amazing.
to the surveys. I wonder how many business owners out there, how many of you actually done a customer survey in the past, let's say 5 years even?
Yeah.
If you haven't, it may be a good time to do that. And you could do something with just 3 or 4 questions, maybe enough.
Exactly.
And we like to ask fairly open-ended questions.
Yep.
And try to get some kind of response back. And a lot of times you get a response back that you didn't anticipate.
Right.
And it could even help you to add a service or a product offering that you don't currently have.
Yep.
Because, for example, like, what else could we do for you?
Right.
Since you enjoy coming here, what else could we do?
What else could we be doing? For sure.
And very open-ended questions. You'll learn some things.
Yeah. And it's definitely very different ways that you can do those surveys. It's very easy.
There's easy ways to do it now.
Yeah.
Like SurveyMonkey.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
some of the other ones. There's free online services that will do it for you.
Yeah. You can set up ways that they'll automatically get a survey every time they visit you, or after once a year when they visit you, or you can pick a percentage of your customers to mail them out to. But you can also do a more personal way. Just have some people on your team kind of randomly pick some customers that you've seen in the last month or so, and give them a call and see.
We did that with one of our distribution clients, and they have 24 locations in North America. And 2 years ago, we called all of the owners of those distribution company's customers.
Yep.
There's 24 places. We called them all and asked them some fairly detailed questions, but open-ended questions. And they embarked on an improvement campaign based on the things that we got back.
Yeah.
And several of the things that they had issues with have been fixed. There's one glaring thing that has not been fixed, and actually it's put a lot of attention on that now because they've done a subsequent survey and found there's one area where they still haven't fixed the problem.
Yeah.
But it is going to be taken care of.
Yes.
And only because they've done a repeat survey and gone, holy cow, it really hasn't improved.
Yeah. Hasn't changed, and they're still bothered by it. So it's important to do that. Yeah. So yeah, you can have an outside party, like we do it a lot for our coaching clients, checking in with some of their customers and some of their vendors, even people that they deal with. What do you think about our company? Because the only way to make a change for improvement is to know the deal of what's going on. So really get that important information.
Well, the other thing is think about is that from a business owner and your team, you're all busy.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a list of a half a dozen things that you think are a problem, but you know that the more frequent responses were these top 2, it helps you to focus on the critical things.
Yep.
Maybe you can't fix every problem that happens, right?
Yep.
But you can focus on the things that happen the most frequently and get that taken care of.
For sure.
And you can make some big progress if you can narrow it down.
Right.
And they'll help you narrow down where to put your focus.
Yeah. Good. Well, in this day and age of, all this competition too, sometimes it's helpful to know what your customer or what your competitors are doing with their customers, so you can even have some secret shoppers go out and check out some of your competition, send in some of your team members, or again, sometimes we as coaches have gone in and been secret shoppers in a certain way and find out, if what's in their secret sauce, what are they doing that's, really putting them above the others. So, I have some examples of some really above the top customer service situations that we've been into. But first I want to start, unfortunately, with the bad. We're going to give one bad example, and then we're going to follow up with some
no names
good
and addresses.
No names
right?
and addresses for the bad.
All right.
We may or may not give it for the good. See if anybody comes running in here and throws some money in my pocket. No, just kidding. But so another bad example, unfortunately, this was another doctor situation.
Okay.
But when I called my general practitioner to get in just for a yearly exam,
Sure.
get, my blood drawn and everything like that. I called to make an appointment, and she, the receptionist, whoever it was, noted that it had actually been more than 3 years since I had been in. And, I'm a busy mom working a lot, and I have 2 young kids and doing their activities. And honestly, my husband's company has a medical facility within their company that we can go to and get, our blood drawn, or we can get, if we have a cold or just something simple, because it's sometimes hard to get into your general practitioner for just, the flu or whatever. So I just go there, and it's a lot easier. But they had, again, not ever asked me to come in for these yearly appointments. It's just something that I like to do for my own health and everything.
And we recommend that. That's a good idea. At least once a year.
At least once a year, yep. So no reminders had come, no calls, no anything to make me do it. So that's fine. It had been more than 3 years. So, sorry, but I had blood drawn with other doctors, etc. So, I called just again to check in, have things. I'd been sending them reports for all these years. And she said, "I'm sorry, it's been more than 3 years. You're now a new patient. I can't schedule you."
Oh, you got kicked out of the practice?
Out of the system. And I'd been going to this doctor for over 20 years. And I was like, are you sure that they really, that's doctor feels policy? This way? This is what the owner thinks?
That's tough stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And the response was, well, maybe somebody will call you back, but I can't do it for you. And of course, no call ever came.
Of course not.
Therefore, of course, I switched to a new general practitioner. But, these are the things.
That's really bad.
It is really bad. It's like, I'm, lucky for you if you don't need patients so much
that
you don't have to.
Well, one thing that tells me is that there's not enough competition for your business.
Absolutely.
If they don't care.
Yeah. Because there are, definitely a lot of doctors, I understand, that, are not accepting new patients because they're just so full. The general practitioners are full. But still, I did not get on and bash them on the internet or do anything like that. But I was frustrated enough that I was like, good, here we go. I'm going to tell the world. But I won't do that. Now, on the flip side, last December, I went and had LASIK eye surgery done. Okay. And so we had gotten referrals from friends. Again, some of those Raving Fans were out there. Yes, it worked great. I can see beautifully. Okay. And I will tell you, that was LASIK Plus here in Columbus. They did an amazing job. They get a good plug because they did a great job.
Any T-shirts or hats or anything?
They did. Absolutely. So, the first consultation, from the second we walked in, the person who greets you, walks you through the entire visit, takes care of everything. Their sales pitch wasn't over the top, pushy, but they went through this whole series of, testing and everything before they did. They talked to you about the whole procedure. It was great. Okay. And then after that, if you scheduled the surgery or not. But before I even had that appointment, before I even showed up for that appointment, the doctor himself had called to remind me that my appointment was the next day and see if I had any questions before I came in.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then right before the surgery, the day before the surgery, the surgeon called to remind me of my surgery and see if I had any questions or concerns. And the night after my surgery, 4 hours after my surgery, that surgeon called me again to see how I was doing.
Holy cow, that's
see
really
how
good.
things were going. Yep.
That's tremendous.
The follow-up visit, they gave me a T-shirt that says, I can see clearly now what's missing.
They did give you a T-shirt.
Yep, they did.
I'm just kidding.
Yep, so I walk around town proudly with my shirt and pushing that off. Exactly.
You are a Raving Fan.
I am a Raving Fan, and I will tell anybody. And, of course, they have a good referral program, which we'll get into, after the break. But, so if you want to find out more about business coaching or anything about our company, you should give us a call and, find out more about coaching. And we also have a 90-day plan coming up in June, I believe on June 16th.
June 16th, right.
So we can have you come to that. You can also check us out on our website, which is takeactionbusinesscoaching.com.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
So, Michelle, you mentioned this growth club. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the 90-day planning session that's coming up on June 16th? It's all day. It's from 8 to 3:30.
Yep.
And we'll probably have 50 people there.
Yeah, at least.
And all 4 of our firm's coaches. And it'll be packed.
It will be packed.
It'll be a great event.
Absolutely. So yeah, every 90 days we have our customers come together and figure out what it is that they want to work on in the next quarter. So what they want to get done in the next 90 days. We find it so important to set goals and strong, strategically planned goals that make sense and not overwhelm yourself with goals, because sometimes you can give yourself 50 goals and you're going to get 0 done. But if you have 2 or 3 goals in 90 days.
But I get a lot of things partially done.
You can get a lot of things started, but not a lot accomplished. So we really want to make sure that we're getting these action steps and strategies that go along with that goal, figure out who's going to be working on them, what the expectations are, when they're going to get those done. So we have all of our customers, no matter what business industry they are in, come together on this one day in this room and sit down, and there's always a great learning. This time we're going to be talking about finance, and so it's going to be some great stuff on that.
And succession.
And succession planning, yep, absolutely. Right. And we'll go through that. But then aside from that, it's about coming up with your plan. But it's great the way that we interact and network with each other, the way that the clients are able to come together and share ideas, because it's amazing what a lawyer can learn from a plumber.
Well, in a lot of cases, we have business owners in very different industries and sectors, and they have very similar problems. So even the attorney, yes, it's difficult to hire people. It's challenging to train people.
Yep.
Sometimes your customers don't pay on time. Or how do you get the word out about your firm? Those kind of things.
Yep.
So there's a lot of similarities, even though they're very different businesses. There are a lot of similar challenges that everybody's going through.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just the helpfulness of knowing all those people are in the same boat.
You're not alone.
Exactly. Sometimes you kind of feel like you're on an island if you're a business owner, especially if you don't have a strong leadership team with you. So having that
you don't want to go out and yell at
confirmation.
your employees all the time, right?
Right, exactly. You guys just don't understand. So it's a great day of fun and networking, but it's work, but it's fun work, and we get a lot done, a lot accomplished on that day. So I think we can probably throw out to our listeners today.
Oh, yeah. If you'd like to call us at 614-306-7922, we've got a couple of seats, and if you bring one person from your business, we can hopefully get a couple of businesses in there.
Yeah, so give us a call, because the first 2 callers that have 2 businesses that call in will get those tickets. And again, it's on June the 16th from 8 until about 3:30 or so, and always a lot of fun. All right, so we're going back to the customer service. So we were just talking about the bad doctor example and the good doctor example, because we had to have
bad doctor, good doctor.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think you go to the good doctor is my guess. But even though, again, they were different types of doctors, but it was just really about the customer service industry.
Well, and some of these practices are being purchased by larger companies.
Yeah.
And I think that's a watch out for anyone running some of these larger companies, is that you've got to keep what the customer sees
absolutely
needs to stay positive.
Yep.
Or you're going to lose people.
Exactly.
And maybe you don't care. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe.
But if you do care, you've got to make sure that the systems are similar to how people were treated in the past, which is fairly personal.
Exactly.
The doctor visit is pretty personal.
Right, for sure.
And you really want to have the impression that you care about the individual.
Exactly. Yep. And sometimes it's not about the doctor itself. It's about the team, that got in the way of getting to the doctor.
And there's usually at least 2, sometimes 3 people that you see before you get to the doctor.
Right.
So every one of those touches are important.
Yeah. And that's, a lot of the things that we work on in coaching, even building the vision and mission for your company and making sure that you're sharing that with your team about the proper hiring, having the right team members behind you that are helping to relay your customer service message. Does your team understand how you want your customers to be treated? Do they get the importance of it? Do they get your vision on how we should be treating customers and all of that in order to make those raving fans? So, we've talked a lot about this raving fan person and how they're the people that are out there selling for you, but how do we get a customer to the raving fan level?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, we say go through this ladder of loyalty. So the first thing is they're just a suspect. So this is where somebody's
a suspect. You've done something wrong.
That's right. What are you doing? What have you done? Where were you on the night
We're going to find you.
That's right.
All right.
Yes. So these suspects are just kind of, heard about you, or they're actually really your target market. So they haven't even necessarily heard about you yet, but they're the type of person that you would want to buy from
the
you.
right demographic,
exactly.
or age, or income level, or whatever it happens to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Whoever your best customers are, because we talk about, having A, B, C, D clients. So we have the A clients who are awesome. You just love dealing with them. Right. They're amazing.
They sell for you.
Exactly. They sell for you. They become that raving fan. The B clients, we call them just basic clients. There's nothing wrong with them, not good or bad, but you're happy to have them. But, they're just, come and shop and leave, whatever the customer is. And then we go kind of below this little line here where we get to the C clients that we call can't deal with. So the C's kind of are the ones that are always kind of causing a problem, may irritate you, irritate your team a little bit. Not necessarily overly mean or rude, but they're just not great,
Right.
And then the D clients, or we call the dead, because we don't want to deal with them. We don't necessarily need to be focusing on those kind of people. So when we're looking at our target market.
And what does that mean? I mean, what kind of person would be a client would be a D?
That might be the person that's coming in and screaming at your
we
team
don't want that.
members
Yeah,
or
right.
threatening
Treating your
team
employees
members.
poorly.
Exactly.
Yeah, not good.
Maybe stealing
not paying
from
their
your
bill.
company. Exactly. Dine and dash kind of person. So, definitely the people that are not adding anything to your business.
Shoot and scoot.
Exactly. So we're not going to be out hunting for those kind of people.
Okay,
those are not
good.
the people
Let's
that
not
are in
get
our
more of
target
those.
market. Exactly. Our goal is through customer services to move some of these people up to the A level. So we might get a C client, and just because we treated them better, they might be able to move up to a B client or an A client.
One thing that you folks that are out there in business could do is to describe on a piece of paper, just write it down right now if you're home. Write down the characteristics of an A client.
Right.
What is an A client?
Yeah.
Or ask your team to do it. Even better.
Even better.
Have your team that interacts with the customers.
Exactly.
Jot it down.
Yeah.
Because if we get that clear, then we can focus our marketing on those folks.
Right. Yeah. Typically, if you have these great clients that you're just so enamored by, their names are going to jump right to the top of your head. And as you said, think about some of the things that come with them. So we have them, they're our target market. We know we want to be looking for the good clients, not necessarily the ones that we can't deal with. And so then we have, the prospect, and that's somebody who's going to reach out to you in some way.
So the first was a suspect.
Yep.
It's anybody that could use your product or service.
Right.
The next is a prospect.
Yes.
So what's that?
So that's when they haven't necessarily come into your place yet, but they might have checked you out in some way, shape, or form. They saw your building,
website.
They looked at your website, they checked out your social media.
Right.
Maybe you have something on your website that they could fill out a form for more information, please contact, but
so
there actually hasn't been a
of awareness
person-to-person connection yet.
Okay.
Then they become a shopper, and the shoppers, call and find out about your business or stop in and check about your business, but they haven't actually bought anything yet. So it could be a very quick interaction that, they call and they shop
Pricing
and they buy right away. Exactly. But they may just call.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that phone call is so important. And that's something that we find that sometimes companies don't take seriously enough.
Incoming phone calls.
Is those incoming phone calls.
Okay. So what kind of tips do you have on that?
On those, I would say, the first thing is try to answer that phone as soon as you can.
Answer the phone.
Exactly. Answer the phone. Now, not on the first ring. I mean, you don't want to scare them because sometimes,
it's
you pick
partial
it up.
ring.
Exactly. And they're just like, I wasn't waiting for that. But maybe by the second, at least by the third ring, somebody needs to be picking up that phone. Yes. And, if you have to have a system that's going to, automatically put people on hold, put them in a queue, that's
avoid it if you can.
Fine.
Yeah.
But you need to still answer it really
I'm
quickly
not
after
all
that.
Patient with things like that.
Exactly.
I'll just hang up.
Now, I will say that I do like that better than my favorite, which is, hello, Joe's Cafe, please hold. And they don't even ask you if you want to hold, and they just put you on hold, and then you're
But if they ask you, may I place you on hold?
Yes.
I mean, 99% of the time I'll say fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly.
As long as they're nice about it, it's fine.
Exactly. But I do say, with most situations, it takes 20 seconds to find out what they're calling about before you put them on that hold. At least find out, because if it's somebody that can be transferred to somebody else pretty easily, or if it's something that is going to take a little bit more time, then you can say, we're just really busy right now. I want to give you the best customer service possible. Would it be possible for me to call you back? When is a good time to reach you? Or, kind of set up a pre-appointment. But if anything, if you're going to put them on hold, you have to ask that question.
Ask permission.
You have to ask that permission to be put on hold. Have a smile on your face when you answer that phone, because you can feel a smile through that phone. Yes. So we always practice with people. Sometimes tell people they don't like it, but we tell them they have to put a mirror in front of themselves and look in the mirror and smile. So you want to smile and feel it before you pick up that phone and say hello. So just remember that, depending on what your lifetime value of your client is, and we can get a little bit more into that later, but what your client lifetime value is, say it's $4,000 that customer might spend with you in the average lifetime that they would be with your practice or business or whatever. Every phone call that you miss could be a loss of that $4,000 or whatever that lifetime value is. So we'll get into a little bit more of that when we get back. Again, this is Take Action Business Coaching with Michelle and Pete today. If you want to find out more about us, go to takeactionbusinesscoaching.com.
And we do have a 90-day planning session on June 16th at 8 a.m. And if you're interested in coming to that, give us a call at 614-306-7922.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
All right, we're talking today about customer service, and Michelle's been going through what we call the ladder of loyalty, right?
Yes.
Going all the way from a suspect, which sounds funny, and up to a raving fan.
Yeah.
And we've gotten up to customer, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
You mentioned lifetime value. Now, if you haven't figured out lifetime value, one simple way would be to take a look at your customer list, and most of you that have accounting programs can pull out a list of all your customers. And then, ideally, you would be able to look at what has the various customers, what have they purchased from us in the last, let's say, 3 years or maybe 5 years on average, and then Pareto them, rank them.
Yeah.
And you can figure out the average spending, and you could do it on a profit basis too. If you know your margin, you could figure out our estimated gross profit from the average customer is this, it's $10,000.
Right.
And then if on average, if you can calculate how long an average customer stays with you, if let's just say it's 10 years.
Right.
So 10 years at $10,000 a year is $100,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the loss of one customer could be $100,000.
Right.
And also on the flip side, a gain of a customer is $100,000.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we got to look at both ways.
Every person coming through the door like they're walking in with their $10,000 in their pocket,
Right. And your numbers for your business will be different.
Exactly.
But you can calculate your numbers, and it's a great thing to get the team involved once you determine what that is and how you calculate it, to teach that to them and say, look, guys, this is why we measure these things.
Yep.
So that we can hang on to the folks we have and gather new ones just like them that you love to deal with.
Yep.
Hopefully we get ones that are fun for the client, for the customers and the employees to deal with.
Yep.
So.
And we're talking about those shoppers that are waiting on the phone call and waiting to talk to us, and put them on hold.
Oh, yeah, put somebody on hold.
Put somebody on hold. Again, try to keep that hold as minimal as possible when you're doing that. And hopefully that you have some sort of entertainment for them while they're on hold, whether it be the radio station, hold music, Sirius radio, or pre-recorded, voice messages that tell them some of the things
business
that you're
talk recordings.
Exactly. I think that would be a great thing to have on there. Absolutely. So, keep them entertained, because the dead air is just as bad as if Pete and I just sat here and didn't say anything for the next 20 minutes and you guys just had to listen to nothing. It wouldn't go very well. So we had them being a shopper. Now they become a customer because they actually bought something from us. So maybe they came into our restaurant and they were just kind of perusing the menu. But one time they came in and they bought something and they're good. Now it's how do we keep them coming back? And so to get them from a customer is the next level, is to be a member. So the members are out there and they are coming to us frequently. So they have come to us multiple times.
Now it's a routine.
Exactly.
You're their supplier of choice for whatever this is.
Right. And so, there's can be different ways to try to make sure that they're doing that. Get them on some sort of mailing list or email list that you're sending them offers, you're just sending them information, you're keeping up with them. In the case of like the dentists or chiropractors, different people sending them reminders that it's time to come in again.
Inviting them to things,
inviting
events.
them to things, having all kinds of important things. Sometimes people will develop a VIP program where customers actually get some special privileges for buying for them.
Like the dry cleaner?
Exactly, yeah. You get so many punches and you get a free shirt cleaned.
I usually lose those things anyway.
Well, in this day and age, now there's so many companies that even have their own app that will, track reward systems for you, so you can, have that on your phone, or you can have all kinds of things, or they can keep a track in their own software of where you're at and where your rewards are.
So I don't have to put one more thing on my key ring.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes,
Good.
yeah. Key rings get a little full, don't they? And there is an app called Key Ring, actually, that you can put all those little barcodes onto, so you can have it all in one, all just on your phone, no longer on your key ring. Just a little side note there. But then, once they are a member, again, they're shopping with us, and they obviously are happy because they're continuing to come back again and again and again.
Okay.
And then we want to, be able to handle any of the moments of truth that come about. So that would be the time when maybe we didn't do the best that we could have.
Something went wrong. Okay.
Something went wrong, but then again, having that response and how we deal with what went wrong, because things are going to happen. We're going to mess up. We're human. Our team's going to mess up. Right. We as owners might mess up. Our system might mess up. Some vendor that we use in order to help us might mess up. The distributor forgot to deliver the Pepsi that day, whatever it is.
So we want to be able to have some guidelines through which our team can correct those problems that happen in a moment of truth.
Absolutely.
And they need to know what kind of boundaries they have.
Absolutely.
And what can they do to turn this into a great experience.
Right. Exactly.
And if you do respond well, you can actually end up with a better customer relationship than you had before the event.
Right.
If you handle it well.
If you handle it well. If you handle it wrong, then we might lose that
member. It'd be a good thing to talk
member.
to your team now before it happens.
Exactly.
If something happens, here's how would you respond, guys?
Right. And
talk about it.
Absolutely. Keep track of what's happening there. So then we have these members, and we've made them happy. They've come to our events. They're following us on social media, everything.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid. Yep.
Awesome.
And so then they're an advocate. Now the advocate, they're going to talk well about you because they're happy. They've been members. They've been shopping there. They're doing fine.
So but only if somebody asks.
Only if somebody asks. Exactly.
Okay.
So your Uncle Harry calls and says, "Hey, I need to have a good chiropractor. I thought you said something about that back snapping guy. Who do you have?"
That sounds bad. Man.
And that's not what the advocate would say, but
back snapper.
But they would gladly tell about this person. So again, they've had a good experience.
Okay.
They're not scared to send their friends and family there, but they're not necessarily out there looking to get anybody some information. So again, they're great. They're wonderful. We love our advocates. But we want to push them to be that raving fan. So Raving fan.
How do we do that? I mean, how do you elevate? How do you get someone to that point?
That is when we get the wow factors. Okay. When we really do the stuff that's over the top. That's just amazing. So here's another example. I don't know why I have all these doctors here, but my son just recently started going to an orthodontist.
Yeah.
So we had actually gotten referrals, not only from our dentist to this orthodontist, but also a couple of friends who have gone. Yeah. And they're just like, "Michelle, you love customer service. You are going to be blown away by these people." And I was like, yeah, you can't really impress me,
dentist,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I tell you what, again, we go in there and it is top notch. I mean, the place is beautiful, first of all, when you walk in there. I mean, you might feel the money being sucked out of your pocket, but it's okay. So, but again, immediately the person who is going to be kind of our guide, our tour guide for the day, comes back and meets with us, takes us on the tour of this beautiful place. I will tell you, every single employee, every single team member that was in there smiled and said hi to us as we walked by on our tour.
That is not an accident.
That is not an accident. Okay. Absolutely. That is definitely
part
of the training. Yep. So then we go in and we sit down in the office. The office has the doctor's chair in just a normal office with a desk and all of that, where we're going to have our consultation, so that our son, when the doctor wants to look at him, can be in a private setting where it might be a little intimidating. This
but not those open walls and things like some of the dentist office.
Yeah. Okay. So he goes in and he does all of that. The doctor and his team member that were working with him on the evaluation, I mean, it was like a dance. They had their system down. They knew everything that was going on. But we found out when we get your braces on, when they take them off, they've set up a strategic alliance with a photographer who comes in and they give you a certificate that you get
removal picture
that they hang in their office and give to you a copy. So cool. It's promoting the photographer, but it's also promoting their business that they do it. Of course, you got a T-shirt when you go in, and
you did?
Yep, after your first visit, when you decided to join up and become a member, you get your T-shirt.
Well, also you get that coupon book to pay for these braces for the next 2 years.
Yep. Well, there's of course.
It's like buying a boat,
Yeah. But they had already figured out everything with our insurance, what it was going to be, so that they could tell us right then and give us our options for payment and all of that stuff. But they also, again, have an app, and their app is very useful. They have games on there that the kids can play on there, but they track your points. When you wear your T-shirt to your orthodontic appointment, you get extra points for wearing your T-shirt. Because
on the app, on the game?
On the game, on your app and all this stuff. You get
complicated.
To get things, to get rewards. But, it's it's very smart on their point, because you think about that. Most of these kids are going to school before or after their orthodontic appointment. So at least every 6 weeks, they're wearing this shirt that represents your company. And they were happy to give one to mom, dad, sister, anybody else who walks by, you know.
You're a billboard.
Exactly,
right?
Yep. And then when he left, he had a backpack with all his goodies in after he got his braces put on. So they just went above and beyond, you know. So what is that wow factor? What can you do? And there is...
Within reason, right.
Absolutely. Okay. And sometimes, you know, these things might be expensive. Obviously, some of the things I talked about that they were doing do have a marketing expense that goes with them.
Right.
But honestly, sometimes just getting those referrals is just asking your customers who are already saying great things about you, hey, if you have any friends,
one of the simple
things
you can do is just call them.
Yeah, exactly.
Every once in a while, pick up the phone. I mean, you could take 15 minutes every day and call a couple customers.
Yeah, just checking in.
You and or your management team
is
just call them and talk to them.
Yep.
And they'll be surprised if you do that.
Yep,
in a good way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you might have specific reasons you're calling for, good news, bad news, whatever. But yeah, if you just call them out of the blue just to check in, then that's a wow.
Hey, we sold you a fill in the blank.
Exactly.
A few months ago. Want to make sure that everything's going well.
Exactly.
How's it going?
Yep. And especially with those new customers, if anybody from your team called them a day or two after and just said, hey, we just want to check in and see how your experience with us. Make sure that we, you know, accomplished everything that you were looking for, everything that you wanted us to do. There's a great video if you look on YouTube. It's called Johnny the Bagger. And it'll make you cry. So I'm just telling you, have your tissues ready. But it's just such a sweet story about this grocery store bagger named Johnny and how he wanted to brighten some people's day. So he decided to go ahead and find positive quotes and find inspirational messages, write them down himself on a bunch of pieces of paper, and it was Johnny's thought of the day. And he would put them in the grocery bags as he bagged them. And it really became a phenomenon in this grocery store that the line that Johnny was working, people would start lining up. They didn't care how long the line was compared to all the rest of the checkout lanes. You know, we're always in such a rush, but people waited and wanted to be in Johnny's line because they had figured it out and they wanted to have the thought for the day. And then, you know, it kind of challenged the rest of the team to start figuring out what they could do for that. So, you know, think of your wow factors. What can you do to make things better in your company, in your world? Again, do some investigative reporting.
Focused on your customers. Yeah.
Think of experiences you've had that were great otherwise, and make your customers the Raving Fans. Make them do the selling for you and be telling their friends and family. Now, just a reminder that on June 16th, we have our Growth Club, our 90-day planning session, and we have tickets for up to 2 companies. The first companies that call in and check in with us after this customer service session today. Our number is 614-306-7922. We get 2 businesses to have a couple of tickets to come to our 90-day planning, June 16th, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. You can also find out more about our company, Take Action Business Coaching, at takeactionbusinesscoaching.com.
And listen in next Saturday.
We'll see you then.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.